A warning: if you have a weak heart, don't watch this story. If you survive it, subscribe, because the scarier stories are coming. I was holding a book up to my face, pretending to read in my room, just waiting for my mom and older sister to leave the house. That morning, my mom was supposed to go downtown with my sister to buy her some of the ridiculously overpriced materials for her sculpture classes. I still couldn't figure out why my sister couldn't go buy her clay by herself. Did mom really have to go with her? But then again, if she didn't, I wouldn't get to have the house to myself for an hour and have some real fun. Without knocking, mom walked into my room and said, "Ali, sweetheart, if you go out to buy anything, don't forget to lock the doors, okay?" I replied, "Sure, don't worry." Mom and dad are really obsessive about locking the doors, both the street door and the yard gate. Every night before bed or whenever no one's home, they have to check and double check that all the doors and windows are locked. Lately, they've gotten even more paranoid. Ever since the news broke out that two 14-year-old boys, same age as me, had vanished without a trace. One night they told their families they were going to the park to hang out, and they never came back. If my parents are that worried about someone breaking in at night, maybe they should just build a fence on top of the walls. As soon as my mom and sister left, I waited a few minutes. When it seemed like they weren't coming back, I dashed into the yard and turned the faucet on the pool all the way up. While it filled, I went back inside and searched the whole house room by room. I had to convince myself that no one else was home, that nobody was spying on me through a window or hiding in some closet. I checked everywhere except the basement. Once I was sure I was alone, the fun began. I took off my clothes and tossed them on the floor. I ran through the hallway toward the yard. The little pool was almost full. Pigeons and sparrows fluttered out of the garden as soon as they saw me, flying away in panic. I dove straight into the water, my little personal pool, and it overflowed like lava from a volcano. There wasn't a single cloud in the sky. The summer sun blazed down, scorching the ground and burning the skin off your feet. But the tree above the pool had cast a nice shade, and every now and then, the cool breeze gave me goosebumps. In this heat, an ice-cold lemonade was exactly what I needed. Suddenly, the phone rang from the living room. But instead of answering, I headed toward the kitchen. No way was I gonna let the nosy neighbor lady ruin my day today. I had just reached the doorway when I froze. There was a sound coming from the kitchen. Someone was in the kitchen. My heart nearly leapt out of my chest from fear, but then dropped back into place when I realized what it was. It was the radio. The kitchen radio was still playing music. I let out a sigh of relief. For a second there, I thought someone was actually in the kitchen. I laughed at my own paranoia. I must have been in such a rush while checking the house that I didn't notice it was still on. Mom probably forgot to turn it off after washing the dishes. I switched off the radio, opened the fridge, and poured myself a glass of lemonade. I also grabbed a couple of pastries from the box. While munching on the sweets, I decided to check the rooms once more, just in case. The phone was still ringing. The sound echoed from downstairs. If that nosy neighbor really wanted to talk to my mom, she could just call her cell phone. That old lady always wanted an excuse to drop by. I really didn't like her. When I opened the door to my sister's room upstairs, I noticed her window was open and the wind was making the curtain dance. Then something in the corner of the room caught my eye. It was standing upright, on 2 feet. I'd be grateful if you could like the video before I continue the story. Suddenly, I felt ice cold all over. I shut the door and ran downstairs. I went straight for my towel hanging in the yard, but I couldn't stop thinking about what I'd seen. My sister and I don't talk unless it's to insult each other. We honestly can't stand each other. Still, we do have a few things in common. I just didn't think creepy stuff was one of them. Sharp, shiny claws, covered in black fur from head to toe, and a wild, beastly jaw filled with razor-sharp teeth. It was the creepiest sculpture I'd ever seen. I couldn't believe my sister had made it. It looked so real, like a taxidermied werewolf, a giant one, bigger than me. I wrapped the towel around my waist and went back upstairs. The phone in the living room had finally stopped ringing. Could it have been my mom calling the house? She usually just calls my cell phone when she needs something. As I passed my sister's door, I glanced at it quickly and hurried to my own room at the end of the hall. I shut the door and immediately checked my phone. 10 missed calls. My mom had called me 10 times. What the hell? She must have really needed to tell me something important. The moment she called again, I picked up right away. She was screaming, shouting frantically, words tumbling out. Suddenly, my whole body began to tremble. She was telling me to hide somewhere, to grab a stick or something to defend myself. The police were on their way. But only one thing kept ringing in my ears. The neighbor saw something on our rooftop a few minutes ago, staring down into the yard. My gut told me to bolt out the front door and scream in the street until the neighbors came out. But then I remembered what Mom had said a few minutes ago. Fear surged through my chest and I slammed my back against the door, pushing hard. Could they have come down from the roof? Had they opened the yard door and entered the house? Could they be climbing the stairs right now? I jumped away from the door and dragged my dresser in front of it with all my strength. I piled a few more things on top. If someone tried to open the door from the outside, I'd press my waist against the dresser and hold it shut. I thought about dragging my wardrobe in front too, but then I noticed the window in my room was slightly open. A cool breeze was drifting in through the crack. That's weird. I was sure I hadn't opened it today. Could it be that suddenly a blood-curdling roar echoed, a mad guttural howl coming from inside my closet? If you want to hear more scary stories, make sure to subscribe so we can reach 1,000 subs soon and bring you more.